Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh Kumar and I'm your DevOps SRE DevSecOps coach.
Okay, so the question is, what is AWS? Okay, what is AWS? So when I elaborate AWS, A for Amazon, W for web, and S for services. So that means AWS basically is Amazon is a company named Amazon, and they provide some of the website related services, right? Web services. So that means we understand internet, correct now? You can connect to the internet. Now, when I say services, means what kind of services? What kind of services we have? So here we have infrastructure as a service, we have a platform as a service, we have software as a service, we have function as a service, we have a container as a service, and all this stuff. Now, I just want to know how many of you understand these services. What is the IaaS? What is the uh, PaaS? What is the SaaS? What do you think? Any one of you? So if hello, I'm audible, right? Hello.
Yeah,
So
it stands for infrastructure as a service, platform as a service,
yeah,
and
look,
software as a service.
yeah. So this is a things, right? Same thing. So AWS, which is providing all these services on the over the internet, but what exactly we have, so we need to understand what you get it from all this. So let me snippet this one, and so if you see that here, there are few things you manage, there are few things the provider will manage, means AWS. So here this was the traditional data centers. Okay, traditional data centers means when you want to run any applications, you have to own the hardware. On top of that virtualization layer, you also own that environment for OS, runtime, any scaling requirement, runtime code, data, and all stuff, everything you own. But what AWS is saying, hey, we have an infrastructure as a service, so I will take care of your hardware and virtualizations, and you come to my website and then create an operating system. You come up with your runtime, means Java, whatever it is, all the scaling, code, and data. So all this you take care of it. I will give you that in this VM virtual machine. In short, compute unit we call it. Okay. But after that, they started saying, hey, because we are, containers are booming like anything. So we will give you the container services also. So that means I'll take a hardware, virtualizations and OS also. Okay. And then all this container you run on us. And then inside that you can have runtime, application code, all this thing. So this is the container as a service. Then they started saying that, okay, listen, we can take care of runtime also. Just you come up with your application and then run this application code, you bring it, data you have it, and run that. We'll take care of all these things. So this is called platform as a service. So platform as a service, so they are taking up to runtime. But function as a service, what they are doing, they are taking up to the scaling also. And they're saying, hey, listen, you don't have to pay for everything 24/7 for this resources, what you're been paying. You pay for only what milliseconds or second you are using it. So that is a function as a service. And then software as a service, everything they will own it, and the data will be us. So software as a service, something like a Gmail, Facebook, LinkedIn, these are the software as a service. Function as a service means you can say in app services, web services we have in AWS. We have let's say SAP, if you have heard about it. So there's a function. Oh, sorry, not function. It's a platform as a service. Function as a service like a Lambda, which we'll discuss. Lambda. Container as a service means ECS, and EKS. Infrastructure as a service means EC2 and all kind of things. So basically, what they are giving you, everything, whatever you need, every kind of services they are providing to you. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Are you understanding? So we'll focus on AS first. In a simple way, when I say AS, that means you get a CPU, okay, and RAM and RAM. That's all. So that means we call it a compute unit on top of hardware. Okay, compute unit. After that, you will have this one also, storage also, and then next one is networking, and then fourth one is security. So this is coming under the infrastructure as a service, and let me tell you, this is called foundation services. That means whole AWS or any cloud platform is built on these services only. Okay, compute service, we call it compute. You call it storage, you call it networking, you call it security. Okay, so now how can we get started? That is the question. How can we get started? So first thing what you have to do on AWS, you have to enroll for AWS free tier. Now how can you enroll for it? So anyone who's having the email ID and then credit card, you know so you can enroll for it. Here AWS free tier, this program we call it a AWS free tier. Here you can create a free account, registered to this website. They'll ask you credit card information and they'll give you the free account actually. Now the question is how much you can use this free tier. Okay, so this is many thing which is free for 12 months actually. Yes, so AWS is giving you this is free for 12 months. But if you are thinking everything is free for 12 months, then it is not the case. Remember that if you blindly consume the services and create the services, it will be chargeable. So it is very important you to understand the limitations, how much limitations we have under the free tier. So here they are saying, hey, you have a compute, you have a database, you have a storage. Containers means container as a service. Web and mobile apps means platform as a service, function as a service, and machine learning. These are the same thing which I was discussing. So in this, in a compute, if you see this is a compute, 750 hours per month. This is free, but only the instance type should be this one. You have to read it actually very carefully. T2 micro or T3 micro. It's not like everything you can create and then enjoy. No, mind it, this is only for learning purpose. AWS has given all the free resources so you can learn better, not blindly create and misuse this platform. So it will charge to your credit card if you misuse. In terms of S3, 5 GB. In terms of RDS, 750 hours, and so on. So it's a pretty huge list. I would suggest you when you create an account, you must spend time with it, and then whatever the resources you are creating, you must understand. Okay, so this I would suggest each one of you should be having this account, your own personal, apart from the office account actually. And you use it responsibly. Okay, So that is stuff. So now when you get an account and you have to log in, right? So when you log in, how do you find it out? So look at this. You will find it like this. You see here. This is the when I logged in, I find it here. And if you click on the services, left side, these are the categories of services. So some of the things I must tell you here. AWS has a 5,000 services for everything, everyone. So if you are trying to complete AWS, all the services, you will not be able to complete in lifetime also. Okay, because you have services for development, you have services for IT people, you have services for QA, you have services for DevOps, you have services for database, you have services for administrator, you have services for CTO, CEO, you know, different departments, different people. They need a cloud, and you have a services for robotics, satellites. If you're in a domain, here it is. Governance, machine learning, IoT, game development. So you have services for each and everything. It's a huge thing. 5,000 plus services you will find at AWS. So now here we need to focus on the one which is we discussed here: compute, storage, networking, and security. So here, if I click on the services, I click on the compute, and inside that, if you see, this is the category, and this is a subcategory. Okay, this is not the resource name, service name. But if I go for this one, which is, you read this one here, I can find it out also. See, and it got added somewhere here. Cursor, you follow my cursor. So it says virtual server in cloud. Virtual. So they call it EC2. EC2 means Elastic Cloud Compute. So that is, if you, in short, if you want the VM to be created on cloud, you can use this subcategory. Now you must remember that this is a subcategory. Inside that also you have so many resources. Okay. So instance is here, some image are here, you know security groups are here. So many things are there. Key pairs, you have it, elastic IPG, you have load balancer, you have auto scaling group, you have so many things you have which you need to get comfortable with. Okay, but before that, before we create some resources here, it's a website, you have to just come and create resources and use it for your purpose. What you did last time, you created a VM in your laptop. Now you have to create a VM on AWS and use it same way, nothing difference. Only the creation process will change. And here you can create as many VMs actually, and you pay for what you are using. That is a huge cases for AWS, right? But before that, you need to understand the key concept, which is called region and availability zone. Okay, this is a very important concept we have at region and availability zone. So what is happening? Amazon wants to offer these web services, the one which I talked about it, uh, worldwide. They want the people from the everyone around the globe should use their services. So how they should plan, their web services so everyone can use it as per their use cases. At the same time, they should be also adhere the government policies also. How can we do that? So that is where the region concept has come. Let me tell you here, AWS region. You that is here. So these are the regions, not up to date image, but it's okay for understanding. So these are the regions which we have. In India, we have a Mumbai region. Okay, we have a Singapore, which is closer, most closer. There are many few coming up. Also, I think it has come, but it's not displayed here. So, and in USA you find many, and Japan, Asia part also you'll find many. Europe also you'll find many. So what they did, they created a data centers in these places and they call it a region. So what is a region means? Region is a collections of data center. Data center means physical locations where you are running the servers, where you are having the servers. Okay, so that way, if you want to run application in India and your user base are from India, you should run in India data center. So your data will be closer to website will be closer to your end user. But let's say your customer base is in USA, then you can run in USA data center region. Same time, if you have both the places, you can run both the places, region wide services. Are you getting my points, all of you?
Yes.
Yes.
So that is the one thing. But now, next thing is what is ages. So ages we call it availability zone. As name suggests, it will make sure that availability for your application. So let's understand in this way, in a simple way. So this is a one region you have it. Okay. And just imagine this is a one machine you created in a simple way, one region we have it, and one machine you created. And now this region, the one which you have, it got tsunami, earthquake, terrorist attack, fire, or hardware failure. Anything can happen. You cannot predict the problems, right? Anything can happen. Loss of electricity. So when anything can happen, if you are running entire business in these machines, okay, you lost everything in 1 second. Think about it. Not only you, AWS also providing some of the platform as a service and software as a service. So their customer also will, they are using the same infrastructure. They will also lose this. So what do we do in this case? So here, what are we going to do? So here they have divided every region into two part. Okay, they have divided to every region into two part. Okay, one is, I mean, minimum two part. I must tell you here, minimum two part, and it can be multiple part also. They call it a zone. Zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. And now this zone data center is somewhere in a different part of the location. Let's say if you're from Bangalore, let's say Whitefield, and this is maybe, what is that, another part of the city, Whitefield EC. Okay, and this is, you say, what, Mysore Road or something. Okay, so these three areas you have three data center, and it is still a part of the one region. But you know what, between this and this, dedicated fiber optics is a local network. I repeat, it's a local network. Between the each zone, you have a local network setup in a such a way. So that means you should design your application running one in here, one in here, and one in here. So if something goes wrong with this one or this one, still you have high availability. Are you getting my points? Concept of zone.
Yes.
So every region they have a minimum two zone, up to six. I have seen that in one of the region, and so on. So now, guys, where do you find this region and all? So here it is. You see. So by default, I work for Mumbai region, but you have a North Virginia, Ohio, California, Oregon, Osaka, Seoul, and many others. Okay, so these are the regions which you have. Just give me 2 seconds. Hmm. So these are the regions what you have. So I typically work in Mumbai region because that is feasible for me and my customer base. So here, this is the EC2. Okay, so now what we are going to do. So first thing I'm going to teach you how to create compute unit, which is called VM, virtual machine. In AWS, we call it EC2. So how do we create? So let me create two VM, one in Windows, one in Linux, and after that, I'm going to connect to those VMs. That's very simple, but you have to understand this. So here, go to the instance, and here you see launch instance. I think this session I'm recording, you can look at it later also. Launch instance, click on it, and here you have to give the name of the instance. So let's say it's Linux I'm giving, and here each VM you have to create a using image, right? So this image we call it Amazon machine image. So for that you have a few options: Amazon, Mac, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat. If you browse more than 50,000 AMIs, you can browse it. That's not a problem. These are some of the quick start. If you have your own AMIs, you can bring it also your own AMIs. Right now, I have only one actually. Yeah, three. I have three. And then quick start, Ubuntu. And here you have an instance type. So what is instance type? So instance type, what AWS has done it, the CPU and RAM capacity they attach to the instance type. So based upon your requirement, you can go for all this instance type. Mind it, you must notice here if you have a free trial account up to the 1 year old. So if you use G2 macro, where you get one CPU, 1 GB RAM, which is free for 750 hours per month. After that, automatically you'll get paid. For me, everything is paid because it's a very old account actually. So this is something which you have. So T2 macro, and and here I have to select. Let's say I'll select T2 small, which is one CPU, 2 GB RAM. Let me tell you, it's not a part of the free trade. So if you create this one, it will be. So this is something which you have. So T2 is not there. Password is there, but you have to manually enable it. So you create a VM first, then log into the VM using key, and then enable the password in SSH. This SSH configuration, AWS has nothing to do with it. So they will give you the key which you have to log in it. Okay. So I'm going to create a new key pair for this, and here this key pair I will name it. It's a PM format. I'll go for PPK. So now what is the difference between PAM and PPK? So PAM, if you are trying to do SSH using OpenSSH, I mean SSH hyphen data command line typically, then you should use a PAM. If you are using PuTTY, which we use typically in Windows users, PuTTY, then they need a PPK format of private key. Both are private key only, but formats are different. So PPK is supported by PuTTY and PM supported by OpenSSH. It's up to you. And there are two type of key pair, RSA and ET25515. So I'll go for the PPK because I'm using Windows and create it. Okay, name I have to give it. So this is the demo. What is that? It's a March, right? My God. And date is passing like anything. 220. Okay, 2024, and then create key pair. So I created a PPK for putty, and it will be in your download folder. And that's all. Now here you see network settings. So here network subnets and all, I will leave it as it is, no modifications. But here if I see there is a security group. So what is a security group here? So guys, here we have a firewall. Okay, understand that. So there is a many types of firewalls which we have. Uh, but in this session we need to understand the in a basic firewall is somewhere where you block the incoming or outgoing traffic, correct? So you can allow these certain ports, you can block certain ports. It's up to you based upon the requirement. So for the security purpose, we have a firewall. So now we have a primarily, I'll not complicate this part, but primarily we use two kind of firewall. One is OS level firewall and another is a network level firewall. So OS level firewall, you might have seen it. I don't think so. If you have not seen it, that means probably you're not finding the passion for computer. So here it is. In OS, every OS in Windows or Linux, we'll have a firewall, Windows level, OS level firewall. But there is a network level firewall also is there. Let me put it up in this way. In your home network, have you ever logged in to router? Uh, any one of you? Have you ever logged in to router devices using some specific IP address?
Uh, Using the username, I logged in.
Yeah, username. That's the IP address 192 something like that will be there. Admin something like that it will be there. Have you logged in?
Yes.
So that is a router, right? You are logged into your router, and there also we have a firewall. So what I'm trying to say, your network also have a firewall, and your OS also have a firewall. I'll give you one suggestion. If you think some of the website, if you don't want to be accessible from any one of your Wi-Fi user, means home user, then you can block it over there. Website or port number or some IP address range. So they will not be able to access those IP address range. Okay, so that's called network level firewall. Okay, so here when I say security groups, they do not get confused. This is a network level firewall. That means remember that every machines which you create, these machines you create, this is the one machine. I create two machine, three machine. You have to set up your own network, which I'll talk about later. So I have to set up my own network. It's like this. This you can consider this as apartment. Okay, very simple to visualize that. Apartment, how many Wi-Fi's you have it? I mean, how many internet connections you have it? Everyone has their own Wi-Fi. Everyone have their own laptop connected to their own Wi-Fi. Everyone cannot connect to each other. So this network which we get it on the cloud is creating a kind of isolation from each other, though we have a same network to all of you, but this network will create isolation. I'll discuss a little bit later in this detail. So what I'm trying to say, how do we protect your VM? So that is through firewall. So this is we call it security group in the AWS. So security group is your network firewall. Okay, OS level firewall is separate. So I'm going to create one firewall rather than using the existing one. And here when I create this, okay, when I create this, they're asking, hey, do you want to allow something SSH, HTTPS, HTTP? By the way, apart from this also, you can modify this, but in this page, you have only this one. And allowed from where should be accessible. Right now, I'm not complicating, just anywhere. Okay, now how much CPU, I mean, how much disk you want to run this VM? So 8 GB. Let me remind you, this up to 30 GB is a free to running your application, running your VM. Okay, so you should not use this one for your regular storage, because when the instance is gone, your this data is also gone. So you have to remember that. So 8 GB is coming, and some of the advanced settings I'll ignore it. Number of machines one. This is the review part and launch. So this is a one Linux machine I've created. Now same thing let me do with the Windows also. So I'm creating one Windows machine, launch, and here Windows, go for Windows, and this time I'll go for T2 medium because I need Windows little slow, so just I'm going for a little higher, 2 CPU, 4 GB RAM. Keep here I'll use the same one which I created, and then security group. I'm using the same one which I created in the last demo, which is this one. And mind it, port is not open in this, the RDP port. 30 GB automatically, and create. So guys, I created one Linux and one Windows. So far so good. Any questions? You should spend time on this. You should look at it everything. Okay. So if you see that here, lots of information, meta information you have about this VM. You should understand status, monitoring is enabled for this, security options, networking options, storage options. Many of these options I got through default one, but in future, if you are expert, you can customize it. So now important thing, how do we connect? So here guys, if you notice each VM, let's say Linux and Windows, you get a two IP address. One is public IP address, one is a private IP address. Okay. So what is the concept of public IP address and private IP address? So let me tell you here, let's say I'll put it in this way. You have a Wi-Fi connection in your home powered by one router. Then you have a laptop connect to your Wi-Fi. Don't you think you get a one IP address? So let me show you. So this is my machine. If config IP config, right? IP config. See IP address for 92. So this IP address is the my machine's real IP address. And who's allocating this IP address? Router. Correct now? So every machines you run, you get a real IP address. This is called private IP address. But the question is, what is public IP address? So let me say, hey, can if I ask, if I give you this IP address, can you connect to my machines? Can you connect to my machines? No, you cannot connect. Why? Can you please tell me why?
Not reachable. It is not
Not
visible
visible.
across router.
Because the network type what you have, no, is a LAN actually. Network type which is LAN. So everyone in apartment, everyone has a LAN. Okay, local area network. That means from outside they cannot reach out to you because scope of your networking is local. So the question is, how can we reach out? That is where the let's say if you have a connection from Geo, okay, so Geo will come say and say, hey, see, this is a one home. I'm putting in a very simple way. One home is equal to one network, okay, two home, three home, and then VM is running inside here. Okay, your laptop is running inside here. So now all this IP address is a public IP address. I'm sorry, private IP address. So now this is all powered by Geo. So Geo is giving you this connection also, this connections also, this connections also. Your scope of network is local. Okay. So now what you are saying, hey, I want static IP. I want public IP. So what Geo will say, okay, no problem. I will create one IP for you, and the moment someone will hit this, I'll create one IP for you, and the moment someone will hit this end user to this IP, the traffic will be transferred to your gateway through this IP, this machine, your gateway. Okay, simple. So this you have to pay for it. You have to pay for it, public IP. So same thing AWS is also doing. They have a region. This is the region. Multiple private account will be created. Private network will be created by you and us. Okay, and then you will create a VM. VM will have their own private IP address, and then they will give you free of cost one public IP address also. So if people will hit to this IP address at the region wide, they will redirect to this VM. Simple, because they have a control over both the stuff, right? So this is what, that's why we have a public IP address. This can be changed. Okay, this can be changed, and this is a public IP address. Understood now concept of public IP address?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So now you have to, because I'm outside somewhere in Bengaluru, so I have to use the public because I cannot be inside that network. So what to do? Putty you download it, and this is the IP address. I have a key minded, so credential ppk file, and I know the username is default Ubuntu for VM. So Ubuntu, and it says refused. So I don't know why it's got refused. Let me try one more time. Oh, my bad. I used the wrong key, and then open Ubuntu. Done. So this is the machine now. Do whatever you want. Okay, we'll do whatever you want. I'll become a sudo -s apt update. I'm using the machine so for my requirement. And then apt get install Apache 2, and then systemctl start Apache 2, and then can I access this VM? Apache is there or not? See, yeah, use it whatever you want. Do you want to enable the password? Then you have to modify the SSHD. So let me do that in front of you. So vi, this file you have to modify SSHD, and in this you have to, I know this file is not visible, maybe screen. Okay, let me change the screen type. So there's one option which is called password authentication enabled. uh, I'm looking for it. Where is that? It's here. Password authentication, yes. Oh, it's there, yes, but I have to uncomment it. Okay, yes, save it. Restart the SSD services system CPU. Restart SSHD. Now you have to set the password. So pswd ubuntu Rajesh123 Rajesh123. Done. Now password is enabled. Now if you want to access and just no need to provide the key. Open, and username is Ubuntu. What is this? Password authentication is not enabled actually. So where we went wrong? Let me check the file. Steps were correct. Password authentication, yes, that is true. Did I restart this? And password, yeah, everything's correct, no problem. Ubuntu uh, public key. Steps are correct only. I'm just saying what could be the problem. So, okay, one more try. Ubuntu. Okay, so status running. Let me check one more time. File. Password authentication, yes. Right now. Authentication, yes. Save it. Strange. Okay, let me try enable EC2 password authentications. Steps are correct. I'm just validating. I mean, memories. Oh, okay. Maybe the command service not get started. Let me check. One, two. No, strange actually. I did, I did, I did, I did, I did. No, so I just said everything's correct, but it's very strange for me also. So, ready? Opening a fresh one. IP address, open. Ubuntu, change. PASS, WD, Ubuntu, enter. Setting the password one more time. Rajesh, 123. Rajesh, 123. Okay, this is our last time because it's very odd behavior. Ubuntu, I'm trying through command line. Ubuntu at the rate of SSH, Ubuntu at the rate of Yes. Permission denied. Okay. Last time I'm going to check this one because there are no changes required. I know that for sure. Uh, Authentication, password authentication, yes. So it's a default, but I'm allowing it from everywhere. Of key authentications, authorizations, principal keys. I mean, changes are okay. More or less. And last time. Okay, so let me take this one offline, and this is really very strange. So it should not be the case, but uh, everything is great. 22 port is open, it is already open. Let me try last time a little bit in chat GPT. Yes, easy to instance. I'm not authenticating. I want to enable password based auth m EC2. See, this I did, this I did, this I did, and this I did. Correct. And this I did, and this I did. Okay, so I think there's some problem in the VM. So this you can take it up as an exception because you see here, I did this one on last time validation. So strange behavior. SSD etc SSD config, that's a correct file. And only one thing you have to modify just for the record. You can try a little bit later also. So this one which is called password authentication, yes. This is the line which you required. Yes. Okay, after that save it, and after that restart the services. So it depends on what restart you have it. You can use this or this, both will work in Ubuntu. And after that you have to send the password. So let me copy paste, and Rajesh 123, Rajesh 123. Password updated successfully. Done. And now you should be able to log in. And strange. Both I did. This one I need to check. Okay, so it will become a troubleshooting lot. So let me create a new instance and see if the behavior is consistent. So I'm going to create a quickly new instance, and this is the first time which happened in this behavior is not working. Linux, I'll go for 20. I'm going for it. Okay, so T2 macro is okay. Keep your same one. I don't want to change, and everything will be same one. And selecting the same security group 8 GB, one machine. That's okay. So this is the instance I created, and Linux 2. This is the IP address. Let me log in through the putty and IP address and locate the key. Same process. Open. Just wait for a few seconds. Yes, Ubuntu and done. Sudo. I am just blindly doing the changes. etc sshd config, go to that area, password authentication no to yes, and save it. System ctl restart sssd d password ubuntu rajesh Rajesh 123 done, and then come back to this at the rate Ubuntu, paste it, yes, and Rajesh 123. Okay, it worked. So guys, it must be so what is the difference between Linux and Linux 2? So Linux, this one I use the most recent Ubuntu image. Okay, so maybe I'm just guessing, maybe in this image there are some more software installed or some rules is configured which is not allowing the password based authentications at many ways. So for security reason now this images can be created. So you please remember this step, like sometime if you don't have the working behavior, this is how you have to troubleshoot. Are you getting all these points?
So, are you trying to say you have used the little old image in Linux too?
I have used this Linux 2 is 20. Okay, you look at this here 20. In a Linux
Okay.
one, the one which I used, the latest one 22. So both are
Okay.
same almost. I mean, behaviors will not change in terms of Linux behavior. But here I am assuming based on because the instruction didn't work right. So I am assuming
Mm.
some special tools or configuration rules are there in this machine, which is saying, hey, no matter, I mean, we don't want you to use the password bit because of security issues, right? So nowadays many of the changes which is coming with the security in our mind. So now we need to find out which rules which violating that allowing that access to this one. So it will be necessary only, but you have to go through this little bit of audit and all, and then you can enable here also. Got it?
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
Okay, so by default, most of the Linux should be having, but this is strange. In fact, I used last week this 22. It was not there. Last week also I used it. So suddenly, I mean, again, I'll check this what flag is enabled in the machine little bit later, and then notify you all. Okay, so how do we access the Windows? So of course, Windows through RDP, which is the port 3384, I guess, right? So RDP is in my machine only, remote desktop here, and you have to give the IP address and connect. Now you see it's not connecting. Why? Because remember that that port is not open actually. So what should I do? I go to the security group which I used it and open up incoming one, the same security group which I created last time, and I'm going to add RDP. So here 3389 the port, okay, from everywhere I'm allowing. So I added one more, done. Now if I access, so username is uh, Rajesh Kumar has taken. Huh. Username is administrator, okay, and then password is I don't have. So password I have to generate it. How? So Windows, click on connect and connect RDP client. This steps will be in the recordings. And here you have to get password. Username is same, password. But the problem is they require the PEM file, but I downloaded the PPK file. What to do? So understand there is a problem. I have downloaded the PPK file, but here it required the PEM file, PEM private key. So what do we do in this case? So I'm going to use the partition, which is helping me to, and conversion. All these tutorials you have it the DevOps school. Just search for, let's say I'll ask you to something like that, ppk to pem. At the end of it, add for every tutorial DevOps school, and you will find it. See here how to convert. So all this thing you have it. It's just matter of you search and get it. Okay, so I'm converting the pem to ppk, exporting, yes, and pem, done. So I have a pem file, and then upload this one under the download and decrypt. And now this is the password. I'm going to use it in my RDP here. And yes, and guys, this is your Windows VM, and do whatever you want. I don't think so I have to tell you what should be done. So this is your Windows hosted on AWS. Any questions so far, all of you?
So for Windows, when you used Ubuntu image, when you are creating instance, there are two options, right? One is PEM using SSH, and the other one is PPK using PuTTY. You are doing it, but when it comes to
Right.
Windows, there is only one option, right? So we have to use PEM to log in. Is
No,
that
it's not
true?
about the Windows. It's not about the Windows. You have to understand the protocol. So the protocol which connects help you to connect to Linux is SSH, and RD, this protocol, the one which I use, RDP. So SSH allow key and password both, but RDP only allow password. That is the problem. One more protocol we have in Windows which we use, WinRM, but not for interactive. It is for command line.
Okay.
So WinRM works on 5689 or some port number. It's the HTTP protocol. So RDP is the one which you can interact the Windows and work on it just like the way you work on the laptop. Okay, so this is the one. After this, once you complete use this instance, you must also terminate it. Please spend some time here. Stop, start, reboot. I don't think so. I have to tell you what exactly all this thing. So I am going to terminate this, means I am going to lose permanently these three instances. Done. So guys, this was the, you have this is the compute options you have. Any questions so far, all of you?
So one general question. So
Any questions so far, all of you?
Have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@debugschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.